How you identify a leopard seal is by the spots on its hide, hence the name. And mind you, they can very well get as violent as their cat counterparts. Moreover, their teeth are known to be just as sharp and strong. And the following stories of dangerous encounters with these pure blobs of marine life will go on to reveal just that. This harrowing incident, which saw seals turn violent, unfolded in the pristine expanse of BC parks, specifically within the Broughton Archipelago area. This location is situated on the western edge of the Queen Charlotte Strait, at the northern periphery of Vancouver Island, Canada. It's important to note that aggressive behavior in harbor seals is not usually the norm, although it does occur intermittently. And the central figure in this alarming event is Jan Whitehead, a woman who, along with 3 fellow kayakers, found herself in this perilous situation near the Canoe Islets on July 9, 2018. The incident began when a seal, in an unprecedented display of aggression, leapt onto Jim's kayak, one of the male members in the group. As Jim valiantly paddled to dislodge the seal, it astonishingly reached up, clamping onto his armpit, and gave him a bite, as recounted by Whitehead herself. Despite Jim's efforts to fend off the seal, his own kayak ultimately capsized, setting the stage for further chaos. The seal, undeterred, shifted its aggression to another kayaker, sinking its teeth into her arm and hand. Remarkably, she managed to retaliate, striking the seal with a paddle. In a startling turn, the seal initiated a third attack, this time targeting Jan Whitehead directly, biting her on the lower arm and causing injuries to both sides of her arm. In a desperate bid for safety, Whitehead's group managed to escape and rendezvous with a commercial kayaking group further upstream, who in turn thankfully provided a much-needed first aid kit. The severity of the injuries, according to Whitehead, was mitigated by the fact that everyone in their group was equipped with dry suits. But despite the harrowing seal attack, Jan Whitehead remained steadfast, asserting that the incident will not deter her from future aquatic ventures. In a detailed account posted on her Facebook page on July 15th, she delves into the details of the unsettling encounter which transpired during a 15-day kayaking and camping expedition with her husband Warwick Whitehead and friends Jim and Marlene Harper. Their hiking and kayaking trail started from Duncan as the group embarked on their journey, starting with an overnight camp at Owl Island's Provincial Park campsite. The next leg of their adventure involved packing up and setting out for Insect Island on the morning of July 9th. As they paddled toward the Canoe Islands through a fairly narrow passage, the absence of seals was initially quite obvious. However, Warwick's keen observation of some motion in the waters ahead, initially mistaken for a fish, would come to mark the ominous prelude to their unforeseen ordeal. In an email interview with a reputable magazine, Jan vividly recounted the intensity of the situation. There were 3 consecutive attacks by the seal directed at 3 out of the 4 kayakers. Among them, Jan Whitehead bore the brunt of the aggression, suffering the most severe wound, later prompting an immediate evacuation for her, especially to the hospital in Port McNeill for necessary treatment. Post-incident, Jim and Marlene returned to Victoria and were placed on some antibiotics. Jan, upon returning home, also went over to Cowichan Hospital to receive antibiotics as a precaution against infection. Jan emphasized that amidst the intense incident, the group displayed remarkable composure and focus. Recalling her state of mind during the ordeal, Jan shared, "I felt calm and not panicked. I just knew we had to gain control of the situation to prevent it from escalating." She highlighted the collective calmness, emphasizing that each member contributed to an organized rescue effort. The group devised a plan to return to Owl Island, recognizing it as a strategic landing site where they could safely remove their dry suits, assess injuries, and provide assistance to Jim, who was not only in shock but also affected by the cold. Warwick, the only member of the group untouched by the seal's aggression, took charge of applying first aid to their wounds. Jan especially stated that without this protective gear, the severity of the bites could have been significantly worse. She couldn't overstate the need for individuals in these cold waters to not only prioritize protection, but also acknowledge the necessity of such gear for survival. In her opinion, Jan suggested that anyone venturing into these waters should possess self-rescue or buddy rescue skills to ensure a safe return to their kayaks. Her group's preparedness also extended to their communication tools, including VHF radios, and an in-reach device capable of sending SOS signals. Although they paddled back to Telegraph Cove the next day, Jan highlighted their awareness of alternative options, affirming, "We knew we could have called a water taxi or the Coast Guard if we felt unable to continue on our own." Expressing uncertainty about the motive behind the seal attack, Jan considered various possibilities, such as the seal protecting unseen offspring or having negative interactions with humans in the more recent past. Her perspective on the incident only served to highlight the inherent unpredictability of wildlife. She stressed that, "Our reaction to this is that it is wildlife and therefore unpredictable. Nothing we did could have prevented this incident." And as nuanced as Jan's reflection is, it certainly adds depth to the understanding of the complexities surrounding wildlife encounters in natural environments. In the aftermath, the runners of BC Parks released a statement emphasizing the importance of traveling in larger groups as a precautionary measure. They also issued a plea to all visitors exploring the Broughton Archipelago, urging them to remain vigilant in the wake of the recent harrowing incident. The authorities also underlined the need for kayakers to exercise caution during their excursions. In itself, this distressing incident serves as a poignant reminder of the unpredictable nature of life in the wild and points to the significance of adhering to safety guidelines when exploring certain natural habitats. In her interview, Whitehead even reflects on the seemingly harmless nature of the thousands of seals observed in local waters, drawing attention to the state of Victoria's prudent decision to impose a ban on feeding seals. This measure, she suggests, is a sensible response given the wildlife's unpredictable behavior. In conclusion, the multifaceted nature of this incident, coupled with the lack of clarity surrounding the seal's motivation, furthermore prompted BC Parks to issue a broader advisory, urging all visitors to exercise caution and be aware of the potential risks associated with wildlife encounters in the Broughton Archipelago. Swimmers at Clifton's Fourth Beach, located in Cape Town, South Africa, witnessed a shocking incident on Tuesday when a seal pup unexpectedly attacked a child and a woman. Contrary to the initial impression of aggressive behavior, experts caution that the seal's actions were likely defensive and potentially linked to an underlying cause such as brain swelling due to the ingestion of toxic algae in their usual hunting grounds. In a video captured at the scene, a Cape fur seal can be observed frolicking near the shore, seemingly harmless as the person behind the camera remarks on its cuteness. However, the mood takes a sudden turn when the seal lunges at a boy, initiating an unexpected attack. Bystanders swiftly intervene, helping the child out of the water. A vigilant lifeguard blows a whistle to alert other swimmers in the vicinity. The situation escalates as the seal redirects its attention towards a woman and launches a second attack. A courageous man intervenes, seizing the seal by its tail while attempting to escort it to the beach. In a surprising twist, he decides to toss the seal full-on into the sea, showcasing an immediate and somewhat more practical response to the unfolding events. According to eyewitness Biase de Gregorio, the seal pup's rebound attack happened with the woman positioned quite far from the shore, oblivious to the calls for swimmers to evacuate the water. Describing the escalating situation, de Gregorio recounted, "The seal kept persistently returning, moving in and out of the water, launching attacks on beachgoers. In response, the lifeguards formed a protective circle around the seal to prevent people from getting too close. After approximately 20 minutes, the seal swam away, disappearing from sight." The consequences of the encounter were not trivial. The boy involved sustained a bite and a cut on his arms, while the woman endured bites on both hands and one arm. De Gregorio shared the disconcerting evolution of the situation, noting, "It started off quite cute, but then turned a little bit hectic." Notably, social media speculation emerged, with some suggesting that the seal may have been antagonized prior to the attack. This account of the incident more accurately sheds light on the sudden and startling nature of the seal pup's behavior. And in the wake of this same visual evidence, experts have now come to debunk any such initial perceptions of unprovoked aggression, so the seal pup was only acting out of a motive to defend its territory. This argument also raises more questions about potential factors, such as the supposed physical or bodily swelling that could have triggered the unusual conduct. As such, we can confidently say the dynamic sequence of events, from the initial frolicking to the unexpected attacks and subsequent intervention, now provide a more comprehensive understanding of the incident at Clifton's Fourth Beach. The experts also pointed to a potential link between recent seal attacks and a prior mass die-off along South African coastlines in 2021, attributed to domoic acid poisoning from a red tide algae bloom. Elaborating on this further, experts explained, seals consuming fish and crustaceans affected by algae bloom domoic poisoning exhibit symptoms such as brain swelling. Surviving animals may suffer neurological damage, potentially contributing to the observed rise in attacks around Cape Town. The suggestion that the seal pup might have ingested domoic acid while nursing from its mother, who could have been part of the 2021 die-off, adds a layer of complexity to the situation. Moreover, the experts highlighted the potential health risks for bite victims, emphasizing that seals carry bacteria in their mouths that can lead to infections. Treatments, including antibiotics and even skin grafts, are crucial for those bitten. Importantly, humans cannot contract domoic poisoning from seals, but they can be at risk if they ingest contaminated shellfish. Authorities have also consistently stressed the urgency of seeking immediate professional medical attention for individuals bitten by seals, again emphasizing the severe risk of infection associated with such wounds. This imperative for thorough cleaning and the prescription of broad-spectrum antibiotics also indicate the potential consequences of neglecting proper medical care. Residents in the surrounding area have also been reminded to maintain a safe distance from sea wildlife. This has been coupled with a stern caution against interfering with these creatures. This advisory extends to both residents and visitors, urging them to approach marine and coastal wildlife with respect. Furthermore, individuals are encouraged to relocate their pets from areas where wildlife may be present, so as to foster harmonious coexistence and avoid animal clashes. That having been said, during this specific incident at Clifton Beach, lifesavers took immediate action to treat the seal bites on site before the victims were transported for further medical treatment. Although the bites were not deemed serious at the time, the precautionary measures undertaken by the lifesavers demonstrated the importance of prompt and thorough response to wildlife-related incidents. Lulu Taylor, who is a prominent social media influencer, took to Instagram to share a similar harrowing experience, cautioning others about swimming at Clifton after being attacked by a seal. She recounted her experience of being bitten 6 times, which necessitated an emergency room visit and a regimen of potent antibiotics. Expressing gratitude for those who assisted her in and out of the water, Taylor detailed the severity of her encounter, especially pointing out that the teeth of seals were quite substantial. Offering his own insights into the incident at Clifton Beach, one marine expert speculated that the seal might have been in distress. However, he also deemed the attack, or any other for that matter, as highly unusual, as seals were typically non-confrontational with humans and seldom exhibited intentional aggression. In turn, this perspective goes on to prove the earlier argument of toxic poisoning, as it sheds a little more light on the atypical nature of the encounter and the factors contributing to the seal's seemingly erratic behavior. Another influential figure, Jean Tresfant, a marine conservation photographer with over 30 years of experience, provided a contrasting viewpoint. Tresfant, having extensively interacted with fur seals during dives and filming, described the seal's behavior as not a normal, playful nip, but rather outright aggression. He described it as freakish in the least, which also contributes somewhat to a better understanding of the incident, and also further emphasizes the abnormality of the seal's actions. Tresfant further highlighted an attack on a diver at Spaniard Rock in False Bay, indicating a concerning trend in seal behavior. Offering a broader perspective, Tresfant suggested that such incidents might be nature's response to human activities impacting the ocean. He concluded, "It's simply nature fighting back over all the sludge we pump into the ocean." In short, this is a provocative statement that should encourage reflection on the potential ecological implications of human actions and their repercussions on marine life. The recent Clifton Beach attack actually gained more notoriety through a TikTok post by a user known as the Sicilian Wifey. Her footage further buttresses the anecdotal accounts from witnesses on the day, suggesting that some individuals may have been taunting the seal before the initial attack. Whatever the case, the detailed accounts from Taylor, Barnes, and Tresfant, along with the NSRI reports, undoubtedly provide a multifaceted understanding of these recent seal attacks. The contrasting perspectives also serve to highlight the complexity of wildlife interactions, prompting a closer examination of potential environmental stressors and their impact on marine creatures. In addition to the Clifton incident, several other seal-related events have captured widespread attention in South Africa. The National Sea Rescue Institute, NSRI, reported similar incidents involving aggressive seals in various locations, including Hout Bay, Iserfontein, Fishhoek, and Noordhoek Beach. At Fish Hoek Beach in Cape Town, a beachgoer faced a startling encounter when chased by a Cape fur seal while trying to photograph the wild animal. Another unsettling incident unfolded at Strand Beach, where a teenager narrowly escaped a seal attack after a group of youngsters approached the seal with the intention of touching it. In the wake of the multiple attacks, the Cape of Good Hope Marine Authority has promptly reminded people not to approach wild animals, especially Cape fur seals. Similarly, the city of Cape Town has reiterated to residents the importance of maintaining a safe and respectful distance from marine and coastal wildlife at all times. To address such incidents and encourage responsible wildlife interactions, emphasis is placed on certain key guidelines. For starters, seals are wild animals and should not be approached or touched. Feeding them is detrimental, as it habituates them to human presence, posing risks to both the animals and the public. As such, under no circumstances should anyone feed a seal. Generally speaking, seals do not pose a threat if left alone and not harassed. But in the event a seal approaches anyone, individuals are advised to back away slowly and refrain from interfering. Apparently, these detailed guidelines are suggestive of the significance of responsible behavior around seals and other wildlife, and it also acknowledges the role of humans in contributing to the well-being of the wildlife surrounding them. In a harrowing incident off the coast of South Africa's False Bay, 3 spear fishermen narrowly escaped a prolonged and life-threatening attack by a leopard seal on Sunday. The terrifying ordeal unfolded over a reef situated more than 400 yards offshore, where the seal disarmed the divers and repeatedly bit them, despite their exceptional physical condition. 2 of the men, Jerome Peterson, a 50-year-old from Stellenbosch, and Joshua Joubert, a 40-year-old from Blueberg Strand, who just so happened to be jiu-jitsu instructors, along with Cameron Vanething, another 24-year-old from Strand, who works as a Cape Town municipal lifeguard, found themselves in an exhausting fight for their lives. The National Sea Rescue Institute, NSRI, and Cape Medical Response personnel swiftly attended to the victims upon their return to shore. While the injuries sustained by the spear fishermen were serious, they were thankfully not deemed life-threatening. The nature of the attack raises questions about the sustained aggression of the leopard seal, known for its predatory nature, and also highlights the unpredictability of wildlife encounters, even for individuals with extensive training and conditioning. The subsequent details about the circumstances leading to the attack and the response strategies employed by the divers are as follows in a non-chronological manner. In the aftermath of the attack, the National Sea Rescue Institute, NSRI, quickly moved to issue a crucial public safety warning on Tuesday, while shedding more light on this recent alarming incident involving a leopard seal. The NSRI emphasized that leopard seals, while not inherently familiar with people, exhibit an extreme level of aggression and unpredictability. At first, this breed of seals will allow anyone approaching them some degree of close proximity, from which they can launch sudden attacks in any direction, thus adding an element of danger to encounters with them. The NSRI has since shared detailed insights into the trio's harrowing ordeal, revealing that the leopard seal appeared to specifically target one of the divers, leading to a life-threatening struggle. The divers later recounted their traumatic experience to the NSRI, providing additional context to the dynamics of the attack. However, witnesses on the shore observed the commotion and promptly notified the NSRI post in Simonstown, prompting a swift response from both the NSRI personnel there and the Cape Medical Response, CMR. It all happened in the vicinity of Spaniard Rock and Caravan Reef, where the spear fishing expedition took a terrifying turn for Jerome and his fellow divers. As they reached the aforesaid reef to commence their spear fishing endeavors, Jerome descended to the seabed, only to be unexpectedly bitten on the leg by a seal. The situation quickly escalated as the seal persistently attacked, biting and bumping all 3 spear fishermen relentlessly as they desperately struggled to make their way back to shore. The aggressive seal not only snapped and broke off their flippers, but also disarmed them of their spear guns, inflicting serious bites, puncture wounds, soft tissue injuries, as well as scrapes and bruising. The intense struggle endured for over half an hour before the trio, exhausted and bewildered by the unprecedented attack, finally managed to reach the safety of the shore. Surviving this ordeal, The spear fishermen attributed their resilience to years of experience with the sea, coupled with their exceptional fitness levels and the utilization of state-of-the-art equipment during the ill-fated expedition. Notably, the National Sea Rescue Institute, NSRI, highlighted that a 5mm wetsuit likely played a crucial role in saving Jerome from potentially fatal injuries. Cape Medical Response, CMR paramedics, subsequently attended to the injured divers, providing necessary treatment, while the National Sea Rescue Institute, NSRI, diligently recovered some of the equipment that had been scattered and was floating out to sea. The cause of the aggressive seal encounter largely remains a mystery, as it raises concerns about the inherent danger associated with leopard seals, a fact which was emphasized by marine scientists. The City of Cape Town authorities subsequently set in motion a protocol of heightened vigilance as they closely monitored pinniped activity, or in other words, these are species of the type in the surrounding area. They have also issued a warning to ocean enthusiasts to exercise extra caution. Leopard seals, typically found in Antarctic pack ice, have been known to venture into regions like South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, Tasmania, and other southern hemisphere locations. These large and powerful pinnipeds, known for hunting warm-blooded prey, including other seals, are considered potentially dangerous. While attacks on humans are rare, the New Zealand Department of Conservation has documented at least one human fatality attributed to a leopard seal attack. But despite the uncertainty surrounding the specific trigger for this more recent aggressive encounter, marine scientists stress the generally unpredictable nature of leopard seals and caution the public to exercise caution around sea animals in general.